after an impressive losing streak for the Tribe. They head down to Tampa, and Cody Anderson almost throws a no-hitter. Is that showing how bad the Rays are this year? The Mudhens come home to play the Durham Bulls and get a much-needed victory. Now tonight, they'll try to take it and make a second win and get a 2-game winning streak going in this homestand. The Tigers welcome in the Jolly Rogers of the Pittsburgh Pirates this evening, and we have breaking news in Jacket Land. Are you ready for a Stanley Cup player to come to the Jackets this year? Be interesting. Team USA getting ready to take the field, and they'll take on Germany, a very good German team. So sit back, relax, strap it down. All Andy Alfred starts next on your exclusive home for me, Clay Fan 2, 3.
I've been listening to you, watching the same games you've been watching, but I have the nerve to say what's on my mind. It's time to listen. It's time to learn. It's time for All Andy Alfred.
Hi. Starting now!
Indian fever is catching fire with everyone. Indian fever, you can be part of the fun. You're the winner at every game. That's where the excitement begins. So catch Indian fever, be a believer with the Cleveland.
You like my hat? It's a Slider hat.
Indian fever, it starts from the very first inning. Indian fever, each game is a brand new beginning. It's the hits, the homers, the double plays. It's how you feel when we win. So catch Indian fever, be a believer with the Cleveland.
Oh, be a believer! The Cleveland Indians getting a much big win last night at Minute Maid Park in beautiful Tampa, Florida, as the Tampa Bay Rays lose to the Cleveland Indians last night. We'll break that game down for you, as well as preview tonight's game for the Tribe, as well as talk a little bit about the Tigers as well too. Talk Mudhen baseball and the big breaking news in Jacket Country. I love you guys, and welcome to Andy Alfred right here on your exclusive home for me, a production of Clay Fan 2, 3. I am your host, Andy Alfred, welcoming you into the Man Cave Studios, welcoming you into another edition of All Andy Alfred, of course. Wearing the Indians mascot's beanie on the top of my head, of course, because I've got Indian fever. It's the Indians getting a much-needed win after losing 4 straight to the Tampa Bay Rays. We'll break that game down here in just a little bit, and we'll also talk, like I mentioned, we'll talk about the United States taking on Germany this evening, and as well as talking some off-season NHL news, big news coming out of the Blue Jacket camp today as well too, and as well as we'll talk a little bit about the Cavaliers as well too, as well. So let's get into it. Let's get started right away. Of course, I'm wearing the Slider hat. A lot of people think I look like Slider. Do I look like Slider? Do you have the big nose and the eyes? If I wore a ball cap, but the Indians getting a win last night in Tampa Bay. And Cody Anderson last night, a solid performance by him as he went a great outing for Mr. Anderson. He gets his first win of the year. He went 8 innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 run. That run was earned by Grady Sizemore. He had 1 home run in the game, and that was given up to Sizemore. And Anderson had a great outing for the Indians last night, as the Indians win 7-1. The final line, Tribe have 1 run in the first, 1 run in the second, 4 runs in the ninth, and 1 run in the eighth. The Rays had 1 run only in the 7th inning. The final line, the Indians had 7 runs on 13 hits, 1 error. The Tampa Bay Rays had 1 run on 3 hits and 1 error in the game. Anderson gets the win. He goes to 1-0 with a 0.57 ERA. Carnes gets the loss. He goes to 4-4 with a 3.26 ERA. Yan Gomes homered his third, and Grady Sizemore homered, called up from Durham to play in this game. And he comes out and he provides the only run that Tampa scored, and that honestly provided the only chance that the Rays were going to get no hit in this game. Time of the game last night like I said, Anderson, 8 innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 run. That run was earned, 2 strikeouts, and 1 home run. Time of the game, 2 hours and 45 minutes, 11,082 in attendance at Minute Maid Park last night. For Tampa Bay, Carnes last night went 6 innings pitched, 9 hits, 2 runs. All 2 runs were earned, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts. His ERA, like I said, is now at 3.26. So the Indians getting a win last night at Minute Maid Park. Not Minute Maid Park, Tropicana Field, my apologies, in Tampa Bay. So let's look at some other scores from around the major leagues yesterday. Milwaukee was a winner 7-4 over the Philadelphia Phillies. Texas an 8-1 win over the Baltimore Orioles. Boston 3, Toronto 1. It was Minnesota losing to Cincinnati 11-7. Cincinnati 11 runs on 17 hits, no errors. Minnesota 7 runs on 9 hits, no errors. Kansas City loses to Houston 6-1. That's a big surprise there. Arizona wins 10-6 over the LA Dodgers. Oakland 7, Colorado 1, and the Yankees lose to the LA Angels 4-1. So tonight on the docket for the Indians, on the hill, it will be Danny Salazar, 6-3 with a 4.06 ERA. Ramirez for Tampa, he is 6-2 with a 4.23 ERA. 7:10 start time on Fox Sports Time. But we have a big series going on tonight up at Comerica Park. The Pittsburgh Pirates and Andrew McCutchen, Francisco Liriano, A.J. Burnett, and crew, and the El Caballo will be in Comerica Park. It'll be Garrett Cole on the hill tonight for Pittsburgh. He's 11-3 with a 2.16 ERA. And the Tigers will throw out Justin Verlander on the hill, who is 0-1 with a 6.17 ERA. 7:08 start time on Fox Sports Detroit and also on Root Sports. Other notable games tonight: Milwaukee in Philadelphia. That's Youngman versus Hamels. It'll be Lewis versus Gomez as Texas takes on Baltimore at 7:05. 7:07 in Toronto will be Estrada for the Blue Jays taking on Rodriguez for Boston. 7:10 the Cubbies are taking on the Mets. It'll be Hendricks versus Neese in that affair. 7:10 Cincinnati will be DeSclafani on the hill. He'll take on Minnesota's Phil Hughes, who is 6-6 with a 4.20 ERA. 7:10 start time for that one, as well as at 7:10 it'll be Matt Latos on the hill for Miami, who is 2-5 with a 5.49 ERA, taking on Jeff Vogelsong, who's 6-5 with a 4.05 ERA. Washington is in Atlanta tonight. Kansas City is in Houston. That's an 8:10 start time for that one. At 8:15 tonight, it will be the Chicago White Sox taking on the St. Louis Cardinals. It's Chris Sale, who's 6-4 with a 3.02 ERA, taking on Lynn, who is 5-4 with a 2.84 ERA. At 8:15, 9:40 tonight, the Dodgers are in Arizona. That's De La Rosa versus Frias. 10:05, it will be Oakland hosting the Rockies. It's De La Rosa versus Bassett. Nova versus Henley. It's the Yankees take on the Angels. And at 10:10 in the Padre land, the Padres take on the Seattle Mariners. Montgomery versus Kennedy. And like I mentioned, the Tigers tonight it will be Cole versus Verlander. 7:08 start time. Tomorrow's series for the games. There's 2 day games tomorrow on Canada Day. By the way, happy Canada Day Eve to you, Canadian friends. We'll have our special Canadian show. The Canada Day show. It will be a live show here. It will be post game after the Mud Hen game tomorrow afternoon. Tomorrow at 1:07 will be Porcello versus Burley in Toronto. At 12:35 it will be Cueto versus May as Minnesota takes on Cincinnati. 3:35 Colorado and Oakland as Bettis versus Hahn. Walker versus Shields as Seattle takes on the Padres. Tomorrow it will be Carlos Carrasco versus Coron for the Cleveland Indians tomorrow at 7:10. And then for Detroit, it will be A.J. Burnett for Pittsburgh against Alfredo Simon. Simon 7-4 with a 3.57 ERA. A.J. Burnett 6-3 with a 2.01 ERA. 7:08 start time for that one. And in the concluding game on Thursday afternoon games at 1:08, it will be Francisco Liriano 4-6 with a 3.21 ERA, taking Kyle Ryan, who's 1-1 with a 4.56 ERA. 1:08 start time on Fox Sports Detroit or on Root Sports. And at 12:10 on Thursday, it will be the Indians taking on the concluding game against Tampa Bay. Corey Kluber 3-9 with a 3.66 ERA. He'll take on Moore, who is making his major league debut on Thursday. And then the Tigers will hit the road. Will be at home as they'll take on Toronto in the weekend series. It'll be Sanchez on the hill, 6-7 with a 4.63 ERA. 7:08 start time for that one. Cleveland is in Pittsburgh. Francona and Lindor has not yet named the starters for that one. So we'll take a look at those games going forward the rest of the week. Let's take a look at the standings going forward right now in Major League Baseball. It will be going forward into tonight's play. The Kansas City Royals are still in first place, but not holding out by much right now in the placement. You like the slider hat? I kind of like the slider hat. It's pretty cool. Like I said, Kansas City is 44-29 in first place. Minnesota is now 40-36, 5.5 games out. Detroit was idle last night. They're 39-36, 6 games out of first place. Cleveland with the win now that goes to 34-41, 11 games out of first place. And the White Sox are 32-42, 12.5 games out of first place. We'll see what happens tonight going forward. Josh Hamilton, some news out of Major League Baseball before we continue on to get into the Mud Hens. Of course, last night's performance, Rangers have activated Josh Hamilton as well in their big series coming up against Baltimore. So we'll see what happens tonight. I actually am going to keep this hat on because you're watching all Andy Alfred right here. Indian fever has run wild on my head after last night's performance. So let's talk a little bit about the Mud Hens. Steven Moya. Multi-homer game last night as the Mud Hens cruise to a 4-1 win over the Durham Bulls. Buck Farmer improves his record. Now he's 7-2 with a 3.35 ERA. Tensford gets the loss for Durham. He goes to 4-6 with a 5.56 ERA. Farrell, his first save of the year. His first save with the new club. Everett Tensford went 6 innings pitched for Durham, 5 hits, 3 runs. All 3 earned 1 walk, 4 strikeouts, and the 1 home run. For Buck Farmer, 7 innings pitched, 7 hits, 1 run. That run was earned and 8 strikeouts in the game. Moya, he had 2 home runs, his 7th and 8th of the year, in front of 7,043. Time of the game, 2 hours and 15 minutes at Fifth Third Field. So the Mud Hens getting ready to take on the Bulls tonight as well. But last night in the minor league system, as I pull it up right now, last night in minor league baseball in the International League, we had some games going on. Pawtucket was a winner last night. Loser actually last night, 6-0. Rogers gets the win. He goes to 6-3 with a 2.81 ERA. Spurling gets the loss for Pawtucket. He's now 3-2 with a 4.06 ERA. Charlotte was a 6-2 win over Norfolk. Columbus beating up on Indianapolis 6-1 to help their chances to get back into first place. Gwinnett won over Buffalo 2-1. In the second game of the doubleheader, Rochester wins 3-0 over the Pawtucket Red Sox. Scranton Wilkes-Barre loses to Lehigh Valley 8-1, and Syracuse beats up on Louisville 5-0. So looking at the standings going forward into tonight's play, before we take a look at the matchups for tonight, the Mud Hens are 11.5 games out of first place with a record of 34-43. 11.5 games out of first place. Louisville in third place. They're 38 games out of first place. Columbus 42-36, 4 games out of first place of Indianapolis, who was 46-32. So going forward for tonight's starting lineup for your Toledo Mud Hens will be as follows. Leading off for the Mud Hens tonight It will be Alex Avila DHing tonight as he continues his rehab start with the Toledo Mudhens. Xavier Avery batting second. He'll be at center field. Dixon Machado batting third. He's at shortstop. Marte will be batting fourth. He is at third base. Stephen Moya batting fifth. He's out on right field. Jordan Leonardton at first base. He'll be batting sixth. Daniel Fields batting seventh. He's out in left field. Lily Castilla, the new addition for the Mudhens, batting eighth tonight. He's at second base. And Manny Pena behind the plate. He will be catching for Thad Weber, who is 5-3 with a 3.61 ERA for the Durham Bulls in this game tonight. Going forward for tonight, it will be Florio for him. He's 7-6 with a 4.53 ERA. And here's your starting lineup tonight for the Durham Bulls. Powell at center field to be leading off. Brent DHing tonight. He'll be batting second. Moita at third will be out in right field batting third. Cabrera will be catching behind the plate for Florio, batting fourth. Batting fifth tonight will be Schaffer at first base. Beckham batting sixth. He's at third base. Brown out in left field batting seventh. Lee at shortstop tonight. He's batting eighth. And Franklin batting ninth at second base. Tomorrow's pitching matchup for the day game, it'll be Scott Diamond on the hill, 7-3 with a 3.61 ERA versus Mike Belfiore, 3-7 with a 5.82 ERA. Noon start time for that one. We will be on post game for All Andy Alfred tomorrow. On tomorrow's edition of All Andy Alfred, we will recap tonight's games as well as tomorrow's afternoon games as well too for the Mudhens game, as well as it being the Canada Day special. Gotta love it. Looking at the rest of the series on Thursday, the Mudhens will welcome in the Indianapolis Indians for a quick 2-game series. Both teams have not yet named the starters for that one, and then the Mudhens will hit the road on July 4th to take on the Columbus Clippers. Clippers have announced their starter for Saturday's game on the 4th of July. It'll be Ross, 6-4 with a 3.74 ERA, 7:15 start time for that one on the 4th of July. So, interesting to see what happens tonight with the Mudhens to see if they can continue the winning streak at home tonight. Big crowd expected tonight at Fifth Third Field. Big crowd expected tomorrow. You can get your tickets by calling 419-725-HENS or mudhens.com or head down to the box office right now before game tonight. You can catch the Mudhens in action tonight. Well, the Yardy party is officially done. We won't be hearing Marco hello anymore. And Corey Trupp is gone. In exchange, we get the Stanley Cup forward for the Chicago Blackhawks. Jarmo Kekalainen is expecting to speak here around 6 o'clock this evening as it has been made official. The Columbus Blue Jackets have acquired left winger Brandon Saad and defenseman Michael Piota and center Alex Bronhurst from the Chicago Blackhawks. In exchange, the Jackets have traded Artem Anisimov, Marco Dano, Jeremy Morin, and Corey Trupp. What about Matt Calvert's contract? We want long-term deal, Matt. Come on, Yarrow. Sign Matty Calvert. You sign him, we'll be good to go. Especially this trade. Artem Anisimov, one of my favorite players. Good player for the Jackets. The Hawks are going to get a great player in him. Marco Dano as well, too, picking up the Storm. The Hawks were a winner in this trade, I think. Even though we got Brandon Saad, I still think it's. I think Chicago got the better end of this trade, we got Piota, Saad, and Broadhurst. They get Artie, Dano, Morin, Trupp, and a 4th round pick. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players for 3. I like it, but I also don't like it at the same time, too. Saad, 22 years of age, is registered 52 goals, 74 assists, and 126 points with 44 penalty minutes in his 208 games in the NHL. He has added 15 goals, 19 assists, 34 points, and 16 penalty minutes in 67 playoff games. It will help the Jackets out when it comes to playoff experience with them. But Saad, a left winger, and what we picked up in the draft was pretty good. Pioli, 22, was the fifth pick, 70th overall in the 2011 draft. He spent 4 years in the University of Vermont League. He registered 19 goals, 64 assists, 83 points for 185 penalty minutes in 144 games. In 2015, he served as the team captain and set career-high goals and assists and points, 9 goals, 27 assists, and 36 points for 40 penalty minutes, a plus-minus 15 in 41 games for UMV, to lead his team in scoring since 1968. Still, a college kid. Broadhurst, 10th pick overall, 199th in the 2011 pick. He spent 2 seasons with the American Hockey League's Rockford IceHogs. 22 goals, 37 assists, 59 points, 36 penalty minutes. He is a native of Orland Park, Illinois. Broadhurst spent 1 season with the London Knights in the OHL as well, too. Artem Nisimov last year, 40 goals, 44 assists, 84 points, and 40 penalty minutes in 168 career games with the Blue Jackets. 7, 20, and 27 in 52 games in 2014 were joined prior to the club that sent him over from the New York Rangers. So Artie Party has left the building. Marco Dano has left the building as well too. So good. I still think it's not a good move for the Jackets. You give up so much for so little. I mean, but at the same time, can it be beneficial? Can it be beneficial that the Jackets might get, with this trade, could get Matt Calvert signed? And that's what we're hoping for. That's what I'm really hoping for. If they get Calvert to sign, then we're going to be set. We're going to be set for this season. Looking at some other trades that have happened today in the NHL as well, it will be looking forward to today, of course. This is the trades that have happened since the 27th. Well, today, of course, it has just been announced. This is a breaking news alert right here. Kevin Bieksa is now an Anaheim Duck. He has been traded from the Vancouver Canucks to the Anaheim Ducks for a 2016 second-round draft pick. Boston has received a 2016 first-round pick and Sean Curley to San Jose for Martin Jones. Yesterday, a conditional 2016 seventh-round pick for the Sharks, and the Blues will pick up Conrad Abhurst as well. Zach Redondo, a forward for the Boston Bruins, was received from the Philadelphia Flyers, so the Flyers will get a 2017 third-round pick. So, a lot of trades being happened, especially with now going on before July 1 tomorrow, being the start of free agency. It's all the start of the NHL season getting underway as we get closer and closer to October and the start of the new 2015-2016 NHL season. Is it October yet? That's all I have to ask about that. Because we are the fifth line. You're watching All Andy Alfred right here on your exclusive home for me, a production of ClayFan23, presented by carrythefifthline.tumblr.com. So tonight, of course, in beautiful Canada, which will be having Canada Day tomorrow, it will be the semifinal game number 1 between the United States and Germany. Tonight's starting lineup for the United States are as followed. It will be between the pipes of Hope Solo. Hope Solo, really? Come on. After the home, Ali Krieger on defense, Carly Johnson on defense, Brittany Sturham on defense, Megan Kirkberg at defense, and looking at the 4 midfielders, it'll be Lauren Holiday, Carly Lloyd, and Morgan Bryan, Megan Rampone at forward, Alex Morgan at forward, and Toba Heath at forward as well, too. So the U.S. will be starting a 4-3-3 tonight for tonight's game. For Germany tonight, Germany is going to start with a 4-2-3-1. They're going to start a 4-2-3-1 tonight. And here's the starting lineup for them. It will be for the forwards, Cecily Cizik, midfielder Anna Mittag, Alexandria Popt at midfield, and Simone Leitner at midfield. Midfielder also for the German team is Malene Lepozy and Lena Grossstein for them. Mahler is at defense, Kraut at defense, Barsica at defense, and Krim at defense as well too. Like I mentioned, a 4-2-3-1. Start time for that one at 7:30 on Fox. On the major Fox networks. Check your local listings. Big game tonight. The United States moves forward tonight. They will play the winner of the semifinal game. Will play the winner of the final for the final between Canada. It will be a matchup that I really hope could happen. Could it be the United States versus Team Canada? No, not Team Canada, but England or Japan, especially with Canada being eliminated. Japan-United States rematch from a few years ago. Could it happen? You'll see tonight. The goal is to get through Game 1 tonight. See what happens tonight in Canada. So, we'll see what happens tonight as well as we hit the diamond as well, too, as the Mud Hens take on the Durham Bulls tonight. The Indians continue their road trip as they take on the Durham Bulls. And not the Durham Bulls, but the Tampa Bay Rays. The Durham Bulls are the affiliate of the Tampa Bay Rays. And Detroit will take on Pittsburgh tonight at Comerica Park. The start of a 3-game series at Comerica Park. That's going to wrap it up for all Andy Alfred today. I hope you enjoyed this program as much as I did. And as always, go Tigers! Go Tribe! We're Indians Fever, and I'm a Slider. Let's go Hens! And we are the 5th line. Oh, and by the way, I want to talk about the Cavs really quick, since I'm talking Cleveland sports, of course. They have reached out and made the supplement offers to Matthew Dellavedova and crew. So we'll see what happens with that. So let's go Cavs. That's going to wrap it up for All Andy Alfred today. Tomorrow, a live edition of All Andy Alfred on Canada Day. Oh, Canada, the Maple Leaf forever. Until tomorrow, I am Andy Alfred. I hope you have a terrific evening. Stay out there, stay dry, and dry out as well, too. And, as always, I'm pulling for you. We're all in this together, the game of life. And to the teams behind me, and to your team that you root for at home as well. Victory is sweetest when you have tasted defeat. Have a nice night, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow for another edition of All Andy Alfred. Talk to you guys tomorrow. Love you guys. Talk to you tomorrow.
Indian fever. It starts from the very first inning. Indian fever. Each game is a brand new beginning. It's the hits, the homers, the double plays. It's how you feel when we win. So catch Indian fever. Be a believer.
Love you, babe. Talk to you guys tomorrow.